wow. Two people. And I thought I'd be sharing it with Mark today. I'm sharing it with Rupert. We got the same. Oh my lord.
We're in the same room. I don't know how we're in the same room. I don't know how we're not standing beside each other because we're pretty much in the same spot. What's going on?
What's up?
But hey, welcome everybody to another Warriors United show. And
Oh
you
my
know
goodness.
we're missing the third spoke on this
Yeah.
awesome machine that we have. He is missing.
Yeah. And I'm sure he's not, you know what? He is thinking, but he's not thinking about the show because he's probably somewhere. I don't know if he's being chased by bulls or he's climbing the Eiffel Tower. I don't know which
Right
one.
now we're sleeping. Right? He's on 6 hours difference. So right now, he's an old man. He's sleeping right now.
Did you say Mark is sleeping?
Yeah,
He's sleeping? No.
It's like 12 o'clock there. It's like 1 o'clock. Where
He's already planned out what he's going to do in the morning.
Got it all planned out. No, you know what? Well, he might be awake because you know how he works. So he might.
It's 12:30 there. So where it's either 12:30 or 1:30.
And I will not be surprised if we get a question or two from him. I will not be surprised.
I told him don't do it. Don't do it.
We won't miss Anita's questions though. But hey,
yes. So
welcome.
Yes, it is. Welcome everybody to Warriors United for Christ.
Yes, yes.
So my weekend, we finished great weekend, and you know what? I can talk about it, but I have a guest who might be better to talk about it. We just talked about teenagers, so we just had a birthday party. I'll wait till the younger person talks about it, and then of course Mark's birthday. You know what? I'll let you say that part because Mark had his birthday the weekend, and then of course my son was the 2nd of April.
Yes,
but we celebrating his birthday coming up. So
yeah,
it was a very, very eventful week.
Yeah, I had a great weekend too. I don't know if I took her, but she went. I brought her along to Atlantic City. We had I took her for a birthday weekend, so we were 4 days down or 3 days there. And it was a great time. We ate some great food. I was surprised. Every place we ate was awesome. So that was great. We walked on the boardwalk. It was a little chilly, but we walked on the beach. We slept in late, which was awesome. So we just had a real great time. Did a real great time. I had some pictures. I put a picture out there of her. We bought a lion. But it's an AI lion. So
a lion.
A lion, yes. But I'll show you the picture later on. But it was really great time. Really good. Then we had church on Sunday. It was awesome. Great day. Back to work on today. So here we are.
Yes, we are. Yeah, I'm trying not to. I'm just going to try not to use to get elbow or Mark. So if you see my elbow go up, it's just a pretend.
You got all this room. You got all this room now. Now you can't whisper to Mark and just start giggling like you guys normally do.
Yes. So like last week, we said what are the qualities men are looking for in a woman?
Yes.
And our guest was Ken. We're very grateful and thankful that in his busy schedule he was able to come on our show. But anyway, today it's the qualities. What are the qualities of a woman when they're looking for in a man? So today, since we went solo last week, we got guests this week.
We weren't solo because we had Ken, right? So we weren't solo.
Like I was said, we were solo. Anyway. No, Ken did a great job, actually. So it was good. That was funny. So what shall we do?
Let's bring him in.
Yes.
Let's bring in first. We're going to bring in. These are both repeating guests, which is kind of cool because they've both been on the show before.
Yes, and they were ready too.
I'm going to introduce one, and I'll introduce, of course, yours. I introduce yours. But we have Ann Grisham's going to join us right now. Let's bring her in. Give her a big hand clap.
Hey,
everybody.
And then Simon.
And then we have Simone Scott. Help yourself, Simone. Looking so serious. Oh, my goodness gracious. So before I say my little spiel, Simone, just tell us what your weekend was like. I could have said it, but It's your week.
Yeah, you could have just said it. But my weekend was good. It was filled up. My daughter Samara's birthday
Yes.
was on Saturday the 5th,
Uh,
and she's turned 13, so she's now a
Woo!
teenager.
yes.
I know.
Woo!
So we had a nice birthday party dinner for her Saturday to celebrate her. And Sunday was just a relaxing day. I had to recover. So
Yeah. But
yeah, that was
don't
my
forget
weekend.
when we sang Happy Birthday
Oh
to
yeah.
Samara in that restaurant,
Yeah, we
we
had the whole
flooded the whole
restaurant
restaurant.
turning
We
around.
had a
Yeah,
full course ensemble choir singing. I mean, we
we
were
did.
loud. The whole restaurant was like,
Yeah.
ah. It was really good.
Yeah, they
I
just
hear you.
turning
I hear you.
around looking.
Yeah. So I'm good.
So, Ed, how was your weekend before
My week
this thing?
my weekend was great, Saturday, I love doing yard work. So I was out in my yard doing all kinds of good stuff. And then Sunday, I did a lot of resting Sunday.
Mhm.
Yeah,
After
so
the yard work.
after the yard work.
Y'all went to church though, right? Y'all went to church, right?
I did online church.
Online.
Same. I did
I was
watch
there.
online. I did.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
and the assistant pastor, he preached. He preached on Sunday.
Indeed.
Who?
Yes,
Who?
he
He
did.
did.
Miss Edie?
Yes.
Miss
Yes.
Edie? All right. All right. Well, look, why don't you do your little thing about,
Okay,
like and
people,
subscribe.
Americans, Europeans, those who are in Rome and Spain right now. Look, we want you to press the like button, the share button, and the most important, the subscribe button. Press it. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell the people in the restaurants on your job just to watch us. You can watch us all week. So even if you don't see it tonight, you can always go on Warriors for Christ. It's on YouTube and Facebook, and give us a holler and do what you want to say. I mean, you may know some of us already, but anyway, let's get in there. This is going to be very interesting. Go ahead, Ruth. I know
So,
you got.
I got tons of questions, but the obvious one is that we're talking about what women are looking for in a man. So my first question is, what are women looking for in a man?
In
So,
2025.
I don't care who goes first, but tell me what are the 5 things that you think that women want to look for in a man?
You want to start, Simone?
Sure. For me, what I look for in a man is definitely a relationship with Christ. Since that's what I was raised on, of course, and had examples before me. I would say confidence. You definitely have to have confidence. I would say they definitely have to know how to dress. This is just me, okay?
Go ahead.
This is just me. They have to know how to dress. They have to work hard and have goals. And how many is that? That's 4.
4.
That was 4.
That was 4.
Okay, so one more. Okay, so
Okay, go
one
ahead.
more. For me, I would say that we have to also have things in common. As far as like where we want to be in life. Like, so I guess that can align with goals, but I mean, that's pretty much me. I'm not a hard person to please, actually.
Mhm. Oh, sound like your father.
Yeah.
Help
This
yourself.
sounds so easy to me, but okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Okay, Ed.
Ed, what do you say, Ed?
Well, I kind of agree with Simone on a lot of things. The first one, yes, he has to believe in Jesus. That's number one. And he has to not only believe in him, but he has to be practicing Christianity. The second thing, I would say he needs to be established. I'm a little older than Simone, so at my age, I can't have anyone approaching me riding a bike. You know, you got to have something. You know,
Yes.
I agree.
so he needs to be established. He needs to be hardworking. Um, he also needs to know how to communicate with me. I think a lot of women want men who can listen, not just give advice, but listen and understand and validate their feelings or their emotions. And finally, he has to be financially stable. I think a lot of women are looking for that in this day and age.
But wouldn't that be established though?
Well, I guess I could fall under established, so I could give you something else.
Yeah.
Let's see. He has to be well groomed. I think women are looking for men who know how to take care of themselves, who are healthy. When I say well groomed, I don't just mean physically. Well, yeah, physically as well as I just lost my train of thought.
Yes, physically.
Yeah, you see what's going on.
Physically groomed. Okay.
Okay, we'll stick with that.
All right.
Yes.
Physically groomed and healthy. That's what.
And healthy. Take care of themselves. Okay.
Yes.
So my next question before Simon, you go. You both said Christ first, right?
Yes.
Is that really your first criteria? When you see a guy, do you say, "Man, I hope he's with Christ"? Is that your first criteria?
No, I mean my first is how they look.
Right,
physical appearance. That is what attracts. That is the first thing that attracts. Because, like you said, you can't say, "Oh, I fell in love with him because he was Christ-like." No, because that's not the first thing that you notice. So, to me, the very first thing is looks. It has to look.
Right. Physical is very important. But I also think intellect is important as well. If I sit down and start having a conversation with you, I mean, you could be fine as all get out. And if you're not talking right.
Yeah, so that's why I said that's the first thing that you notice is how they look. Then we'll get to how they talk afterwards.
Okay, so wait a minute. So we're in the church. Okay, so we're in the church. Okay, so we're assuming he loves Christ.
Yeah.
So I'm going towards like Rupert's intention here is we're assuming he loves Christ because he's in the church and you see him clapping and he's worshiping. And you see the looks also. Do the looks still come before the Christ light? I'm sorry. I'm devil's advocate here, right?
For me,
I think what draws everybody is a physical attraction first. I think that's the norm. Yeah, exactly. You know, because a person could be, I think it's physical first, and then I think communication follows that.
What if he's really anointed?
Well, that could be a physical attraction.
Like he's laying hands on people and they're getting healed, but he got some messed up facial features, or he don't dress so nice.
Well,
can the Christ part of him supersede some of the other things?
Supersede.
I believe it could, because I believe it could, because I think if you see someone who's under the anointing, I think that's attractive to me. You know, I think, the anointing is attractive.
Okay.
So, and as far as his physical, as far as like him dressing. Now, when I was younger, I was like, you better come dressed right, you know. But as a more mature person, I can always dress them up, you know. So that's not a big deal. That part, you know, that's something that you can work on. You know, you can work on that.
You heard that, Simon? That's something they like to work on.
I heard it. We can dress them up.
You can dress them up. And you can shave them. You could groom them too. You know, hey, I mean, if the conversation is right and they're anointed,
I'm not saying you're wrong, because a lot of outfits or suits or shoes or whatever has come from the wife's side. I mean, picking out or whatever. So I'm not saying that's not wrong, but when I guess a question like, because we go to them in about 10 minutes. This is 2025.
Yeah.
Everything's just changed. Everything's different. What we looked for back then is totally different. How men approach women or women approach men, and it just seems like women are more aggressive to approach a man than the other way around now. So that's a question. How, because I'll get into that question later, because some people have grown children here. How are we going to adapt that? But go ahead, Rupert. Go ahead.
Let's also just for those artists that does not know. Okay, we know our guests, but Simone is married. How long have you been married for, Simone?
14 years.
14 years. You have how many kids?
I have 3 kids.
3 kids. So you've been off of the dating scene or looking for somebody. You found that person. So you're kind of going what you were looking for.
Yeah, what I was looking for.
And you are single now at this time, right?
Yes.
Right. But you are also, I don't know if you're actively looking or if you're content with where you are, but let the folks know, are you content where you are, or are you looking at if that man meets these criteria?
I'm still looking for the person that meets my criteria and my standards. Yeah.
Okay.
And it is a lot different. It's a whole lot different than it was back in the day. Yes. So that makes it a little more challenging. But the qualities that I look for, as I stated, they have changed as the years progressed. But I still have standards, and I still have, there are certain qualities that will not change. They're non-negotiables.
Right, and right. Of course, I was not there, but I was there when Simone and Eric were at the beginning stages, so I know about that a little. But then now Simone has a daughter, so we can get that into later. Now Simone has a teenage daughter now, so what we go in there is what you look for in a man is your daughter has to look at the husband or your grandfather, your father, or whatever, stuff like that. It's now Simone has a different scale now because now she'll know what we went through. Now she got to go through that too, and I understand Anne's part too, and it's a different world. Just jump in whenever you want, because these questions are coming out here. Lord,
we're going to get to them, but I have another question.
Agree.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, go ahead. I was just saying I agree.
Oh, no, I have another question for you ladies. I was going to ask then, so do you think, though, that both of you, back before you met or you are where you are today, do you feel that was this things that you're looking for now, is it the same back then? And also, is it the same for the women of this generation? Because this is what women are looking for, not just you, what all women are looking for. Do you think it's the same back then like we're looking? And also, or the women of this generation that are looking, the younger girls, the 20-year-olds, the 25-year-old girls, were looking for a man? Are they looking for the same things as you gave us?
I don't think so. It's not the same for me, at least, because when I started dating Eric, I was 18. And when you're 18, you're really not looking for a husband at 18. You're looking to get there, but you're not really those, what I just mentioned. It was, of course, physical attraction, but all of the other things I wasn't thinking about. Now, before we got married, that's when it started to change. I started to, fully understand what exactly I'm looking for. And it was definitely, confidence. It was definitely drive, goals, financially stable, and we grow together. Even if back then times were different and what we were making back then is a lot different than what we're making now. So it was like we were growing together back then. I wasn't expecting him to make 6 figures back then. We were growing, we were learning each other. and we were, like growing together. And for me, growing up, I had both of my parents in the household. So as a daddy's girl growing up, you want, when you're getting married, you want those same similar qualities in your dad and your husband. So, and Eric embodies a lot of those qualities. He's hardworking, he's motivated, he puts his family first, So, I would say that what I'm looking for, or what I would look for now if I was single versus back then, it would definitely be different. Because right now, like Ann said, I would definitely be looking for, he would have to be established. If I was single today looking for someone, he would have to be established. But back then, I wasn't really looking for that.
And Simone said something very, very important, and I think it needs to be reiterated. She stated that she grew up with her father in her household. So her father exemplified what type of qualities she should be looking for in a man. I too grew up in a household with my mom and my dad, and they're still together today. And so, yes, my father, having him in the house to show me what type of man and what I should be interested in, and what qualities he should possess, that still has an influence on me today. And a lot of the qualities that I mentioned at the beginning, those are qualities that my father also possesses. So I think it makes a difference, if you grow up with both parents in a house. So, for females, the qualities, not saying that is for all, but just based on how I was raised, I think it's very, very important to have that father figure in the house to show you what it is, or how a man should be treating you, or the qualities that a man should possess.
Okay. Simon, do you have anything before we get to these questions?
No, I'm going into there. Look, we got a nice audience out here. Appreciate everyone. Remember to push the button, them, subscribe it, share it, and like it, because this is the Warriors for Christ, and we roar when you all be typing up these questions. We love it. We love you all too. Keep it up. Appreciate you. Let's go to these questions.
A bunch of questions. Ken decided he's going to go question crazy, so we may skip some of Ken's, but we'll get this one. So they're looking. But instead of using this question directly, how long did you seek, or how long did it take you to find that person, or have you found that perfect person to fit your perfect list of requirements? Did you find one?
Well, I was, like I said, I was still young. I was 18 when I met, so I was really just at that, if I would say, just looking for, I wasn't really looking for a husband back then, but I was ready to start being serious, about looking for someone that I could possibly see myself being with for the rest of my life. Eric,
did he meet those criteria? Did you say, yeah? At what point did you say,
well,
yeah?
I think I have a different story than most, because Eric and I grew up in the church, and I knew him. I knew his family. My family knew his family. So everybody doesn't have that shame. But for me, like, my dad actually went up to him and got his information because he knew I was interested. And my mom was the one who was like, "We got to talk to Eric. He's good looking. He's good looking. You gotta. So that's how it came about with me and Eric. And so it was. I didn't find out about those other qualities until we started talking and getting to know one another on that level. And we didn't get married for 3 years later. So, I mean, it took some time for us to get to know each other. So I would say it wasn't right away. I had to and I also had to learn from the previous relationships that I had as well,
That's
and
what
what
I'm
not to
getting
look
to.
for, and what not to look for.
Amen.
Okay,
That's what I'm getting to.
because
Absolutely.
those I
Absolutely.
knew with Eric, like I can't do what I had previous relationships where I was driving everywhere, I was picking up,
Mhm.
and I didn't like that.
Mhm.
That's what I was getting to. Okay, and
Absolutely.
I didn't
Absolutely.
like that, but I had to learn. I had to learn. My parents would tell me, my nana would tell me, like, this is not it. Like,
Mhm.
you're not supposed to be doing this. Like,
Mhm.
But she
but
knows, yeah,
I
she
had to
knows
learn.
because she did learn because when the date would come up and I would tell her and I tell Serena too also, if they come to the door and you go to the car and they don't open that door for you, that's not the one. Because I will be right there and I'm gonna let them know you done messed up. And that's just for the door. Oh, to
Yeah.
open the car door. That was that.
And it
But
was like Eric's first and our first date. They used to watch me walk to the car through the window. I didn't even know it, but they used to watch. And I guess Eric passed because he opened my car door and he opened the door.
14 years later.
so one of the
Yeah.
prerequisites is they must open car door.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Anne. we gonna, are we going to go to these questions? Did you? Oh, your question. That's right.
Good, and
Oh, okay. Well, my situation is different from Simone's because I'm not married, and I have dated several guys, and I've been down that street, Simone, where your parents say no, 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 that's not the one. But I was rebellious to some degree, and I thought my parents didn't know what they were talking about sometimes.
Mhm.
And as you get older, you realize, yeah, they knew what they were talking about.
Yep.
So it took me a little longer to really settle down and to try to refocus myself and determine what it is that I actually want. And so to answer, was that Ken or was that Larry? Ken?
that was Ken.
Okay.
Ken.
In order to answer Ken's question, Ken, I'm still looking. And actually, I can't say that I'm seriously out there just looking, because sometimes when you're looking, you don't find. So sometimes you just have
Hmm.
to be content and let it come to you. So I think right now I'm at the place where I'm content and I'm waiting for it to come to me. But I'm not just sitting. I still go out and things like that. But I'm waiting.
Okay,
You know.
awesome.
Okay, so NR, she says, attracted to how they carry themselves constantly. So
Consistent.
she's just rebutting what you all were saying, I guess. How they carry themselves consistently, consistently. Not just because when they see you, but
I was going to
even,
ask.
yeah, even afterwards, are they still going to be doing the same spiel that they do when they first meet? Because,
Right.
people change.
Is he
Yeah,
still
Yeah.
opening that car door?
Yeah.
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 So that's the
He
thing.
is.
Yes.
Was it a showboat? Yeah.
My father used to always tell me that don't start something that you cannot continue. So if you start it, it needs to continue. If you start off by getting me interested in you by opening my car door, then hey, that's what made me attracted to you. So you got to continue that. You can't just up and stop and think I'm
Right.
supposed to be happy. No.
I'm going to be in big trouble after this meeting.
Talia, Talia, she says, I agree with Simone. I can't do the homeless look. you
No.
you have to dress with a certain pride.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
You have to take care of yourself.
I must admit, I was not I was not into dressing up. To be honest, I'm the dressing at the occasion that I'm at. My wife got so mad at me one time. We went to Jamaica, but we were in the country. Well, I wore these old sambas, and she tore me up. I'm like, we're walking in dirt. Why do I want to wear? No, you cannot wear. She tore me up, and so I'm very careful now to say,
See?
can I wear these? I'm like very careful.
Exactly.
I don't want to get in trouble no more. But I was not that one. I was not that one. Okay.
And Keith got something. Go ahead. You read this one, Rupert.
Keith says the man can't be ugly even if he has all the other boxes checked. Oh,
I would love to answer that question because there was this one guy that I dated, and I really wasn't attracted to him at all when we met. I met him through a friend of mine, and as I got to know this man, he was very attractive, the conversation. So I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I do believe that you can grow to love someone or grow to like someone, because the more and more I sat down and went out with this particular gentleman, the more and more I realized that he had substance. So it wasn't about necessarily the physical at that moment. But I did notice that the more and more I talked to him and got to know him, he became more attractive to me. So that, I don't think you should box yourself in so much.
What if your friends are giving you heat and saying, "Oh my God, and oh my God, so what are you doing?
You must really love him."
Friends I had will
it
send me
is
a text message like, "Come on."
It is what it is. You can't help
would you walk away from that though, if that was the case, or would you stay in it because of the other things that he brought to the table?
Well, if he has, I can't base it solely on how he looks, because I can't just throw someone to the side just based on my experience. What I learned was I can't just throw somebody to the curb because my friends are saying, "Hey, he's not attractive." No, I might think your man is not attractive and you're still with him. So intellect plays a lot. There are a lot of other dimensions that come into play. So that's just my take on it.
I think you can. For all women now, you're not just speaking for you. You're speaking for the women.
Okay. Well, for all. Well, I can't. Well, there's some women who may agree with me, and then there's some women who might say, "Oh no, I will not go out with an ugly man. I don't care if he's intellectual or what." But
see, Simone scratching her neck. Simone scratching her neck. Come on, bro, bring it. Let's go.
I agree with everything she's saying for the most part. I have dated previous guys that I wasn't fully attracted, or I was not fully attracted to, but what attracted me was they were funny, they had me laughing. I laugh at everything anyway. So they made me laugh, and so it was just, but then, I look for, it has to be more than just that for me. It can't just be you make me laugh. Right. It has to be more. And for me,
it has to be
physical attraction. For me, it comes first. You have to be physically attracted to this person.
So, studio audience, remember, this is their opinions.
This is just for me. It's this is just for me. It's not
everybody's opinions. So you all have your own opinion. So we go there.
Don't get me wrong. I do love an attractive man, but I have seen.
I agree with you. I agree with you, and it's possible to not be physically attracted, but you're attracted to other things of them, and it starts to grow on you. So I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying for me.
So if okay, so
Rupert digging, he digging.
I come up and I show you two gentlemen. I say, "Hey ladies, I got two friends. They both want to go out with you. Tell me which one you want to go out with." One is Denzel Washington, and the other one is JJ Jimmy Walker.
I'm going with Denzel.
Yeah. Why is that even a question?
Anyway, let's get to the next question.
I just wanted to know.
Now, does Denzel? You have to give me a little more information about Denzel.
No, y'all chose Denzel without me giving you no information. I could have said Denzel's a bum, Denzel has no job, but you all just said Denzel, you all.
Well, if you were my friend and you came to me, you asked, and you said that to me, I would say Denzel, but then I will follow up with, okay, tell me more about Denzel. And if I didn't like what you were saying, okay, well, what about JJ? What's he doing?
Okay, yes, okay, and so Ken has put some percentages on this one here. He says, ladies, with the church congregation being predominantly women, around 90%, it would not be accurate to say that if you are a woman in church and unmarried by age 30, your chances of getting married are relatively low, perhaps lower than 19%. That's from Ken.
I totally disagree with that, Ken. I don't know where you're getting your statistics from, but no, I totally disagree with that.
I think so. I don't agree with those statistics at all. I think that's irrelevant.
19%.
The truth of the matter is, most men come to church after the age of 30.
Exactly.
So if you're getting a lot of men after that age, they're coming, whether they're single or married. That's when they come, because they live their life. They're like, okay, now I've done all. Let me go surrender myself to Christ. I don't know if those numbers really work for me.
Well, I mean, I do agree with him that, of course, and that's in nearly every church in the whole world, I think, the percentage of women is way, way more than men anywhere that you go. Mm-hmm. So that I can understand that part. But
women aren't locking themselves into, like back in our day, they usually lock themselves into their church. They're not locking themselves into that. Women are more widespread now, and they're even going outside the denomination sometimes to find a husband, because there is that discrepancy in the numbers in the local assembly.
And even outside of their race,
Amen, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Let me look at Ken's next one.
Oh, what's it? Ladies audience, Christ promised salvation, not marriage. Are you content with being saved even if you never have a spouse?
I think everybody should be content with being saved, whether you have a spouse or without a spouse. You should be content with being saved, because there's nothing better than that. So I don't know. I don't know if he's asking, are you content with never getting married? I don't understand.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I don't know.
I was going to say, yeah.
I think there's a nuance, because, like you said, Ann, we should be content with being saved no matter what. But maybe Ken can elaborate a little bit.
Of course, everybody's different. So Keith really digging on you, because the first one he said, yes. Agree. Now, do you have to be healthy? Does your man have to be healthy?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think any woman is looking for a sick man.
How you doing, Simone? How you doing, Ann? I'm happy to see you both.
I don't think. Yeah, I think I can speak for the women. I don't.
No.
Well, what if? Well, okay. What if you did not know? Let's say you went out for a few months, and he was great. He met all the criteria, but then you found out that he has a disease that he may not live past 50. Right? Would that be something that you would say, oh, I have to walk away from this before I get too involved? Or do you think that women of today would stick around?
Well, with the type of woman that I am, if I was dating someone and then they developed an illness, I would not leave a person like that. That's not who I am. But there are some women who are like, no, I can't, but no, I can't. I couldn't do that. That's just me.
I don't think I would do that either. I don't have that kind of spirit to just leave a person like that, knowing that they're struggling and they didn't ask for that.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think I would leave them.
Good. Awesome.
We coming up? Yep. So
I'm gonna skip that one. We have had too many Ken questions. Let's go to a
What's it? Wait a minute. Talia, she says, Ken, God created Eve for Adam, so he wouldn't be alone. All other species have partners, male and female. According to God, we are not meant to be alone. Everyone has someone meant, foretold by God. And sometimes we do say that there is someone out there. It doesn't matter how you look, how you are, how short, tall, wide, or whatever. There's someone out there for you. And one day you might meet. So, yes, yes, Talia.
They're going back and forth. So here's Ken's rebuttal.
Oh, my Lord.
Talia, I don't know if that is the case. Are all the women in church married? Talia. Wait, come on.
I'll do Talia.
Okay.
Ken. No, I'm not. So, no.
So
Maybe my statement might
Oh my
have
goodness.
now is
Wait,
Ken saying
there's
that
another one. Hold on, Greg.
I'm not married? Didn't say not courting. Okay.
Right. I mean,
saying,
she's saying that there's someone out there for everyone. So even if you're not married right now, there's someone out there for you. That's what she's saying.
And
I don't think she's saying that everyone is married.
And is Ken saying, and Ken, I would love to hear from you.
Ask him.
Are you saying, Ken, that not everyone is meant to be married? Is that what you're saying? I just need clarification.
Uh-oh.
Please clarify that, please.
Clarify, Ken, watch yourself.
He did admit, though, I made up the percentage about the church.
Oh, we knew that. We didn't even have to fact check. We checked that. We knew that was made up.
So,
whoa, Sean. This is a chirp generation.
What does that mean? Chirp generation.
I'm not sure. So, Brother Sean, you got to come back. Oh, you might have come back with this later on. But
they keep chirping at you. They just keep talking.
What, women approaching men? Is that what he mean? I don't know. What does he mean by church?
He's going to clarify that in a minute.
We'll clarify. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Lady, okay, Ken had a lot of points here. Ladies, maybe you move on how they dress down the list. As Ann says, you can dress them up later.
That's true. I mean, you can't come in looking like a ragamuffin, but you know, you gotta.
That is.
Yeah, you can't come in if you're well groomed and you have something on it looks halfway decent, but it's not just appealing. I mean, we could work on that. You know, we could always go get you something.
So I watched this thing called Pop the Balloon. I don't know if you
Yes.
So funny. But women and men both pop the balloon and they'll say it's your fit, meaning your outfit. They will just reject the person.
Exactly.
They'll say you're good looking, but I just don't like your fit.
And who could have a good job?
Some ladies, it is their appearance.
I mean, you have to remember the first impression is the most important. For me, the first impression is the most important. I mean, like if you come in on a show like that and you want to find somebody and impress somebody, come looking decent. I mean, I've seen people in that show, like they just look like they didn't take time at all to get themselves together. And I mean, to me, that is important. I would have popped the balloon too.
But wait a minute, I think Rupert's point is valid here because some of I'll just say the guys when they do come out. When the guys do come out, they well dressed, they groomed. Some of them are like doctors and lawyers, and they haven't said nothing. But because they start talking, or because they're not sure yet, they're like popping the balloons. And like Rupert was saying, Dad, you just seen what I look like? I mean, look, I got 6 figures here. You don't even know that yet.
I would give them a chance. I think maturity level plays a big part of it too. You know,
yes.
Some of them might not be at that stage in their life where they can just stop and be patient and listen to a person. That person could be a millionaire with jeans with holes in them. You know, so physical appearance is important. but I believe conversation and intellect is even more so important. And
But the same show also, some of them wanted their balloon back because they knew they made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Okay, Rupert, who's that?
That's Ken.
Oh boy. Ken says, I am with the ugly man. Give us a chance. Looks fade. Don't be shallow. Oh, Lord.
He should talk to his wife and see what she says. Let's go next one.
Exactly. Yes.
Can the ugly man just be with the not pretty woman? What?
This is getting
Let's go to Sean Francis.
Please. He says, oh. Go ahead, Rupert.
We have got to voice our expectations that we may have in the beginning. Don't just expect it. So I think he's saying, maybe when you're first dating, you got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I always say that to, my sister. I have always said that, you need to discuss expectations on the first date. Get to know the person, but then also just say, well, what are your expectations from me? And then she asks the same question, and then you can let them know if you're able to give them that or not. And if not, then moving forward, this is not who I want to continue being with.
Did you ladies ever go down the list? Like, look, I'm looking for this in a man. Boom, 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 boom. If you can't meet that, we're done. Did you ever do that?
I never did that, no. But
did you want to?
I never did that, but if I was dating today, I think I would. if I was dating today, I would just ask them, like, do you have any kids? What are your goals? Especially if if I have my kids now, and I think that's also an important conversation to have. What are you established? Like, what do you do? Like, I think it's a list that should be asked nowadays, especially times are different even now from when I was dating. Cell phones pretty much weren't even popular still when I was dating. So, that's just me.
So Ann, what about you? Because you're in that stage. Do you just say, look, I don't have time for this. I'm going to give you my list.
Yeah, I'm not going to play too many games. I'm very upfront about that. My expectations are. I also wanted to say something as Simone was speaking. It jarred my memory. Another quality, and I guess it depends on the type of woman that you are. We're so multi-dimensional and things like that, and we all have so many different qualities that we want. I know for me, I have some friends who just like white collar men. Well, I like the white collar and I like the blue collar. I like a man that can come home and fix something where I don't have to spend money to pay for someone to come in. That's just a quality that I like. Where some of my friends, they like that white collar. They want to call someone to fix it. Oh no, I dare not get my hands dirty. My man's hands have to be manicured 24/7. No, that's not me. I just wanted to throw that in too, as far as qualities that women look for in a man. I like a man's man. I like a man that's multi-talented, that can change the oil in a car, that can
change what?
That can change the oil in a car.
Jesus, help the Lord.
That can
change the tire.
Book and handle finances.
Amen.
I like do both.
Yes.
That can cook.
Yes.
Things like that.
Oh my Lord,
Yeah.
change it. You know what? I have so many more questions, but we have so many questions to get to. I got so much. Okay, so Chronicles of what?
This is Sharon. This is Sharon.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean, you should be content with your life, period, and that person adds onto our lives.
exactly.
Absolutely.
We know.
And if not married and started dating, I'll check it. I'll check it in. Take you to a doctor's appointment. I don't feel like I'm trapped. Okay, so
I can hear her. I can hear her now.
I can hear her too. I can hear her. Oh,
wait. What is that? What is that one about?
Yeah, I want to go back to that one too. If we not married,
you remember Sharon?
I'll check.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
you to the one.
Okay.
I feel like I'm trapped.
But what is he talking though?
Understand.
If we're not married and started dating,
And I'll check. I'll
I
check
think
you.
she's. I think she's
So
saying she would feel
you know
trapped.
the previous
I
question
think
is
she's saying
healthy.
she would feel trapped if the person was not healthy. Back to when we were talking about when we date somebody who's not healthy.
Oh, you were healthy.
Yeah, I think she's saying that she would feel trapped if we're dating and she now has to start taking this person to the doctor. She would feel trapped, like she's obligated to do this.
Mhm.
I
Which
see
is
what you're
true.
saying. Okay.
Because which
It's,
is true, especially if you really starting to like that person.
Right,
You will
right.
sometimes feel like this is not what I saw, how I saw my life going, but I really like this person, and I feel kind of trapped.
Mm-hmm.
I get it now. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sean was saying about talking about opening doors. So for a lot of ladies and a lot of parents, right, opening doors for a man is some. If a man is opening the door for a lady, that could be a end of our conversation,
Mhm.
right? But like you said, growing up with a father and a mother in a home, and you saw certain things. What if that young man didn't have that and didn't know that's what you do? He could, and now you're writing him off because he didn't do that. Where it could easily be said, hey, you're supposed to open the door for a woman. Oh, I didn't know that. Because you do have those guys who just don't know certain gentleman etiquette.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how do you guys talk about that? Because there might be people saying, he should open the door for me. He should be able to help me with my coat, pull my chair out. Certain things that, even walking on the right side of the street. The guy's supposed to walk on the street side. Little things like that. They may not know. How do you kind of cope with that?
I'd introduce them to my brothers, my father, some male friends, show them, or you're just going out and letting him see how the other guys are treating the woman, so he can understand and have the conversations as well.
Because he could have grown up hood where they don't always treat their women the same way. Right. And so the same way you can give him clothes, give the guy the clothes help, you should also may think about giving the guy some etiquette tips. Hey, let's talk etiquette for a second. Right? That's just a thought. Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's trying to defend himself now. No, I'm not saying that every woman in church will get married. I'm not saying it to be mean, but look at the unmarried women in the church.
What's that got to do with anything, though?
Nothing.
Larry's not here now, so he's going to take both him and Larry's place. You got to work. Okay.
We could scroll down. We can show that one.
Higher.
Presentation.
We saw that.
So Keith is saying that a man's no buys a tire.
Presentation does matter. Yes, of course.
Okay.
It does.
Met my husband.
Esther. Met my husband when I was 14 and he was 16. Two broke people who grew up together through thick and thin. Well, all people were broke at 14 and 16. Good Lord.
My parents knew each other since first grade.
Broke at 14.
So, wow. First grade.
Yep, my parents knew each other since first grade.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I had said something like that earlier. We grew together. My expectations were not the same as they would be today if I was dating. We grew together.
Made mistakes together.
We weren't making a lot of. We weren't making money like that when we first. We grew together financially, emotionally. We are one. We became one, and I think that is important as well.
Okay, but Esther said they were 14 and 16. So when you say
that wasn't
broke,
that young.
When you say broke, you wasn't well off. The parents wasn't well off, or you because you obviously haven't started working yet, unless you was a milkman or something like that.
Yeah,
the prodigal. That's she's defending. Yeah. Oh. Oh dear. So the big question: what four things do women bring to the table? We got 4 minutes.
Wrong
We have
show. Wrong show. Not the
4 minutes.
Not the
TT,
show.
we
TT.
really want to
TT.
go down that road right now.
No,
No,
that's a different
no,
show.
wrong
That's a different
show.
show. You're wrong show. But TT Robinson, that's the first time I've seen your name. I don't know.
Yes,
So
TT,
thank you for
we
coming
want to
on.
clap you. Thank you for joining our show. Thank you for joining us.
Teach
Keep coming
him.
back.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right, TT.
That's
Yep.
right, TT. Teach him. Ernell Lawrence. I can feel the Jamaican coming out. I have to learn to open the door thing. You see? He's just
Yeah.
validating what we said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm Jamaican
That
too.
was not a part of my culture.
But he said, but that was not a part of his culture.
They didn't have a lot of cars back then.
Culture. That was not a part of his culture.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of cars back then.
Oh, to open door.
Well, that's,
Didn't have a lot of
I'm
cars.
just joking about her, man. I'm just kidding, my
They were
brother.
riding bikes. They were riding bikes.
He had to hold the bike up so he could get on. Wait, brother, or no, with this push cart. It was a push cart they had. It
Well, I
had
mean,
a push cart.
TT came back. We got 2 more minutes. TT said, singleness is a blessing. One should steward their single season. Take time to work on yourself and develop you. Singleness is not a waiting room for marriage. TT.
And I agree. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, Ken
It's a blessing.
did bring this up. Ladies find a man, blue collar, bad dresser, and Bill teach the rest. Okay.
No.
We're not gonna worry about
No,
that.
I love me a dressing. My husband can dress, okay? He can dress and he doesn't need my help. He can dress. And he's a hardworking man. So and he's good looking, okay?
You know,
Tell him, Simone.
you know, it is great to have this conversation.
This was fun, yes.
But I really hope that some of the ladies that are on here and some of the men that are on here that are single can kind of hear and kind of take note and say, you know what, maybe I have not found that person because I'm not doing those things that I need to do as a man to attract that person. So hopefully this helps and gives some information. But ladies, the younger ladies who are looking, I love the fact that you two ladies weren't locked in to say, this has to be. It was, you know what, if they don't meet it well, I can see I can grow with, because sometimes you got a good fish on the hook and you let them go because they just didn't meet everything right away. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they become, or you become together. So that's great.
And of course, all of it.
Smell good. Put on some nice smelling cologne.
I used to get beat up on that one.
Yes.
You mean watching that commercial? Yeah, we're gonna get that spray. What's the commercial? Where the wife keeps stealing the man's
Is that Old Spice?
Old Spice. Yeah, help yourself.
Yes.
But anyway, we be done, ladies. We thank you very much. It was a great show. You did great. We appreciate you coming on with your time. And Rupert, I miss Mark. I couldn't elbow him. I couldn't say no jokes to him. I really did miss him right here. And we're gonna miss him next week too. So
Yeah, next week. And I forgot what next week's show is, but it's gonna be awesome.
yes, it is. Because we're gonna say something with 2 words that we usually say every week.
When we say goodbye, we say these 2 words. We say,
You're welcome. Yes, we do. One by one. Thank you. Yeah, you can stay on.
Where were you? Thanks.
You're welcome.